So this was a painting that I saw in a classroom that I visited, and I thought it was very pretty. So it's a sun on the water, and it looks like they painted it. And I thought we could do a design just like this, using crayons and watercolor. So that would be a crayon resist, because crayons do not let watercolor um, go over it because it resists the water, or it pushes the water away. So let's get to doing that. Here we go. Okay, boys and girls, for today's art lesson, we will be painting a wave and a sun. So this is the picture that we are going to attempt to draw using a technique called crayon resist. Okay? What you're going to need, the supplies you'll need for this art lesson is your crayons, a ruler, a pencil, a Sharpie marker, something to draw the picture on, so white paper. If you have thicker paper, that's great, like watercolor paper or construction paper. But if you just have white paper, that's fine from the printer. Your watercolor palette. Whenever we're painting, we need a cup of water and a paper towel. Okay, I'll give you some time to go get those supplies, and then we'll meet back here and start our drawing. Okay, boys and girls, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and I went over all my pencil lines with my Sharpie marker. There are some pencil lines that are still showing through, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I erase all of my pencil lines because we want to be quality producers. From here, we are going to take our crayons, and we are not going to color everything because we are going to use our watercolor to paint the blue in the sky behind the yellow sun rays, okay? But there are parts that we do want to color. So we can go ahead and color some of the wave parts in different shades of blue. So we want to use nice coloring. We don't want to go outside of the lines, okay? And one of the ways we can do that is we can just color slowly. Take our time, okay? So I want you to color all of the different sections in your wave, different shades of blue, okay? We're going to use blue for the water, okay? So we're going to go ahead and color all these little squares down here, squares and rectangles and trapezoids. Maybe your picture has triangles. We are going to color this whole section down here blue, okay? Color these sections blue. Okay, boys and girls, we are on our last step, which is the fun part. We get to paint. So I've gone ahead and used my crayons to color different shades of blue in the water. I've gone ahead and I've put different shades of yellow, orange in the sun, only in this ring here and in the rays, because I'm going to want to take my watercolor and I'm going to paint a watercolor here. Now, the reason why I call it resist is because the wax in our crayon is not going to let the watercolor paint touch this part of the paper. It will resist the watercolor, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean as I start painting. So I'm going to go ahead and put my paintbrush in the water to go ahead and wet it, okay? And I don't need a whole lot of water. I'm going to take my my paintbrush and I'm going to go into the orange, okay? So it's a bright sunny day on the ocean, okay? And I have my paper towel handy in case I need to clean my brush. This brush isn't really working well, so I'm going to switch over to another brush. Yes, this brush is much softer. And I'm going to go into my orange. So I'm going to use orange to paint the inside of my sun here. Okay. If it comes out too light, then use less water. Okay, we're pulling the brush across. See, if I go towards my blue, it does not want. See how it bubbles up over here? Because that is resisting the water. And I can use my paper towel to splotch up some of the extra water. Because I'm not using watercolor paper today. Today I'm just using Xerox paper because I want to show you that we can use Xerox paper to do a pretty painting. We might just want to use our paper towel to blot up some of the water because we don't want it to rip. And it gives it that effect. You see that? So pretty. It's not super bright though, so if I wanted to go back in and paint it a little bit more, I didn't go back to any more water though, because my paper is already wet and I don't want to rip it. So don't use a lot of water, okay? Just a little if you notice that your paint is drying up. And you can go back over it and make it a darker orange. I think that orange looks super nice. Wherever I wanted it a little darker, I went over it again. And then I just press with my paper towel to give it the look of like a sunspots. Very cool. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush because we're done using the orange. And we're going to do a blue sky, okay? So again, I'm cleaning my brush in the water. Let me show you what that looks like. I have my water. I just clean my brush in my water, and then I wipe it on my paper towel so the color comes out. Okay? I'm going to grab some water, and I'm going to go into my blue. Put some water in the blue palette. Okay? So from the blue, I'm going to go up, 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 up. Okay, and it's okay if it touches the rays of the sun because the rays of the sun are colored in crayon and the crayon will not let the watercolor change the color of my rays. See? So even if I were to paint over it, paint over the rays of the sun, see how it just like beads up? That is because the crayon, the wax of the crayon, it repels or it pushes away the water in my watercolor. So I am just going to go ahead and use the watercolor to paint all the spots in between my rays of the sun. Okay, and I don't have to worry about it going into the crayon part because the crayon will not let the paint change the color that I've used. That's why you want to make sure that you color those rays of the sun really well with your crayon. Okay, if you leave white spots, those white spots will be able to get painted on, and we don't want that. Okay, we want the sun to be yellow. We want our sky to be a blue. Okay, a nice blue sky. Okay, and then let's see. All the excess water, I'm going to blot it up with my paper towel. I'm going to blot up whatever paint fell on top of the rays of the sun. You see that? Oh, some did get stuck on there, but once I brush it with the water, put a little water on my crayon and wipe it off, it should come off. Oh, just a little bit. But that's okay. Right? It's a beautiful painting. Look at that, boys and girls. This is mixed media. We used crayon, Sharpie marker, and watercolor paint. So we used a mixture of different art supplies to make our picture. Last but not least, don't forget to sign your art. Okay, always sign your art. And put a picture so your teachers see what you made. All right? Bye.